More than anything, I hate being tickled. And it all started on my 11th birthday when the boys and I decided to visit an abandoned house on the outskirts of our town. They say that back in Tsarist times, it was the mansion of some landlord. Then some museums were organized there after the revolution. During the war, the museum was almost completely destroyed. When the Germans retreated, they took everything they could carry, and what they couldn't, they burned. After the war, the museum was restored, but then, for unknown reasons, it was closed. Why was it closed, you ask? Well, here, my friends, is the most interesting thing. It is said that the baron who lived here went crazy on the basis of occultism, like the characters in Lovecraftian horrors. He collected antiquities, manuscripts, statuettes, and stones, and was looking for a way to open a gateway to other dimensions, to get higher knowledge, and to learn how to subdue the inhabitants of those places. Well, sort of a domestic Alcazred, only without the Necronomicon. And, well, he sort of succeeded. They say he suddenly disappeared. His wife hanged herself along with his 3 beautiful daughters. Well, or they were helped. Certainly not by humans, judging by the scraps of stories and tales. After that, the servants went mad, and then somehow, things calmed down. After the war, they say, the museum staff and visitors complained of strange ill health, depression, and headaches. Then the staff started having nightmares. So no longer a museum, but a neighborhood famous house of devilry, where the local boys, myself included, could test their awesomeness. Anyway, we got there as the sun was setting. The ominous house seemed even creepier against the shadows of the forest. If I had known what awaited us there, if I had listened to my inner voice, which screamed that we should not go there. Oh, come on. Moreover, I bet with the local alpha that I'll get some trinkets from the house. Oh yeah, I wanted to do something. Don't you remember yourself as a kid? So, into the jaws of fear went me, my friend Vova, and Anton. At first, everything went well. I got into the house, falling over a half-rotted window, and fell into the cold darkness, stinking of mold. I still shudder when I remember its clammy, enveloping touch. The rotten boards creaked menacingly beneath my feet, and I tried not to give in to fear. I stepped unsuccessfully on a completely rotted board and fell into the cellar with a shriek and a rumble. I dropped the flashlight, of course, but at least I was in one piece, though my ass and back ached terribly, and the fall had knocked the air out of my lungs. Grunting, I got to my feet. Fedka, alive, came from upstairs. My friends, to their credit, rushed to my rescue, but so far they couldn't find me. Alive, I called out. Help me out. Where are you? Right here, under your nose. Wait, we'll get you out. And then I was hit with a wave of more than just fear or horror. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like when you're drowning and you realize there's no chance of getting out. Or when a hare realizes the desperate nightmare of his situation when he finds himself in the jaws of a wolf. In a moment, when the fangs bite through the flesh and you feel the pain and the flow of blood through your body, it wasn't just horror. It was heavier, crazier, and more desperate. It was pure instinct, known to our distant ancestors, when they huddled in caves, warming themselves by the meager hearths, huddling against the saving light of the fire, and casting fearful eyes into the darkness of the ancient night. It was unaccountable, pure and inordinate terror. I felt that I was not alone, and that something in the darkness was gliding toward me, giving me a stinking, intermittent breath. But was it breathing? Does it know how to breathe? Something touched the bare skin of my arms, sending an icy stench down the back of my neck. Goosebumps ran up and down my skin. Or maybe it wasn't, but tiny spider legs tickling me, and more of them. It was like something was braiding me and enveloping me, and I couldn't even scream. I was paralyzed. Suddenly, the light of a flashlight hit me in the face. "Fedka, get out." Vova was shining the light right in my face. I let go and ran into the light. "Guys," I shouted, "help! Fedka, and what is this?" Anton snapped at the girl's squeal. "Guys, do not throw!" Almost sobbing, I begged. I jumped on some junk. I lost my balance and flailed my arms in terror. I collapsed. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw something that made my hair stand on end. Hovering over me, I don't even know what. Shapeless, broken, and wrong. Something that doesn't happen in no way should be in our world. Never. And it was pulling at me with its ugly, elongated limbs, like spider legs or tentacles with wriggling hairs. I shrieked. Without feeling the pain of my bruises, I darted back toward the light. "Guys," I pleaded, holding out my hands to them. "Grab on, you idiot!" Vova yelled. Vova's red t-shirt flashed in the trembling light of the flashlight. I clutched at it with a dead grip. I was torn upward. Something grabbed my right leg, like a coarse barbed rope tightening into a tight knot. Even through the sailcloth of my pants, I felt the icy cold. Out of this world, different. The breath of another world is terrible and hostile to the entire human race. I screamed again, wildly, tearing my voice and kicking. My leg was tearing out of its joint. Vovka's t-shirt, too, began to crack and spill menacingly. "No, I don't want to. Don't." I was screaming in my head, or so I squealed. "I don't remember anything." The guy's hands clamped down on my forearms and shoulders. With a desperate effort, with shrieks that turned into shrieks, they pulled me down on top of them, dragging me to the floorboards. Without a word, we ran as hard as we could. So hard that our feet barely touched the boards, and then the ground. We only calmed down when we ran into the playground outside our house. Grandmother and grandfather had to give us valerian instead of tea. And we were shaking all the time. Stammering, we kept muttering about the scary house and the monster in it. They say ghosts are usually tied to a certain place, so that scary thing can't get out of the house. What if it's not even a ghost? What if it's the thing that crazy Baron summoned from the other worlds? Anyway, I had the best birthday party ever. I've hated tickling ever since. Yeah, and I have to admit, I've been terrified of the dark ever since. Whenever I turn off the lights at night, I'm again struck with a terror similar to the one I experienced in the abandoned manor house. And sometimes I think that thing from the abandoned mansion, it's there. And someday it will break out of that house and drag me and my friends into the ever-hungry darkness.